As discussed in the previous video, this training is based on Scrum Guide. And at the end of this training, you'll have a very good understanding of the Scrum framework so that you can have a better implementation of it. The training topics we'll be covering the definition of Scrum, the theory, the values, and the team organization in this video. Scrum is a very lightweight framework. It helps people, teams, and organizations to generate value, and it provides adaptive solutions to complex problems. Very often people think that Agile is for simple projects. That is not the case. People have successfully used Scrum to provide adaptive solutions to complex problems. And the Scrum Guide is purposefully incomplete. When I came across this statement, initially I was very curious, but then what it says is, this is just a guideline. Whatever the team feels that it can add value to the Scrum framework or your Scrum implementation, you are free to do so. So Scrum can act as a wrapper which can accommodate any other best practice for the benefit of the project. For example, now earned value management is predominantly used in predictive project management. But if you feel that earned value management is going to help you to monitor and control your Scrum project, you're welcome to do so. So it is a open, broad framework, loosely defined, but at the same time, we are supposed to do whatever is defined in the Scrum Guide. There is no compromise on that. At the same time, you can add additional things if the team feels that it is going to be beneficial for your project. So let us move on. The key point 5, that is Scrum is purposefully incomplete. That gives a lot of freedom for the team to add more and more best practices to the project if they are going to add value to the deliverable. Then Scrum is founded on empiricism and lean thinking. What is empiricism? Everything we should be able to talk with numbers. You know, totally how many story points, out of that, how many points are completed, how much balance to do, on an average per iteration, how much we are doing. That means to complete the entire product backlog, how many more iterations are required. So we talk with numbers. So Scrum is founded on empiricism, and that means numbers. Unfortunately, in most of the implementations, this is lacking, and that is an opportunity. So unless empiricism is not there in your Scrum implementation, then most probably your decision-making will be impaired. It will still be ad hoc and based on gut feeling instead of basing it on historical data. So that way, predictability can be negatively affected. Then it is also based on lean thinking. So whatever is adding value, we should embrace. At the same time, whatever is not adding value to the end product, we should be quick in saying no to them. For example, if you have a 500-page requirement specification document, which nobody is using while building the product. Instead, if people are seeing only the wireframes and the design document, not the requirements document or the user stories, then that requirements document is not adding much value. So we should be quick in stopping anything that is not adding value to the final product. Then it is iterative and incremental. Scrum goes in sprints, so it goes in iterations. And at the end of iteration, the product is incremented. So we get a enhanced version or a product with added functionality. So that is so Scrum is also iterative and incremental approach. And the empirical pillars, the Scrum pillars are transparency, inspection, and adaptation. So empiricism brings in a lot of transparency into the whole process. And Scrum is anybody can inspect the work anytime. So it provides complete visibility into what is happening. And it is based on adaptation. That means sprint 1, we planned for 10 story points and accomplished only 9. Maybe the sprint 2 will be only committing to 9 story points. So it is based on adaptation. Or if you want to add team members to speed up things, you can do that. So it is, as discussed before, it is based on plan, do, study, and act. So we are open to change. Now the Scrum values. Scrum is based on commitment, focus, openness, respect, and courage. We need a highly committed team to the project to make it successful. Otherwise, the Scrum is also going to fail. So that is a mandatory thing. We need a highly committed team to make the project successful, and the entire team should focus on what is committed in the sprint, and we should have an environment which is open, and we should respect. When we say respect, it is mutual respect as well as self-respect, and it is based on courage, because even while estimating the user stories and even while volunteering for some complex piece of work, we may have to demonstrate some amount of confidence / courage, because there is an element of risk-taking there. So these are the Scrum values. This is the key point, what I want to drive here is, these are not something nice to have. These are the pillars of Scrum. Because many of the implementations of Scrum, they fail because of lack of these things. The team is not committed, management is not committed to the project. They have multi-focus. Sometimes team members are disturbed, they are pulled into other things, and things are not open. A lot of window dressing happens, and there is absolutely no respect to the customer, to the team, and to the senior management. So the moment there is no openness, then the respect also may not be there. In such an environment, people don't demonstrate courage. We don't have the culture of risk-taking, so people play it very safe. So that is a problem. Now, key point 6, that is Scrum is founded on empiricism and lean thinking. And I also said that this is something that is lacking in many of the Scrum implementation. Now, the Scrum team, it is a small group of people, that is less than 10. When we say team, it includes the Scrum Master, product owner, and the developers. When I say developer, among the developers, there can be programmers, testers, quality assurance professionals, architects. There is no demarcation between them. That means I'm into the team. I'm a developer because I have some core skills. It could be programming, it could be testing, it could be code reviews, it could be design skills. So three roles: Scrum Master, Product Owner, and developers. And the team is cross-functional. So within the team, I may have programmers, I may have testers, I may have quality professionals, I may have risk management professionals. And the team is self-managing. In good implementations, we have self-managing teams or self-organizing teams. That means the work is not allocated. The team decides how they are going to do the work. Then the team is responsible for stakeholder collaboration, verification of what is done, and maintenance and operation and experimentation, because sometimes we need prototypes. So the team is responsible for experimentation and any other. The key thing is success and failure of the sprint is the collective responsibility of the entire team. It is not the responsibility of any one person in the team. So the key point 7, Scrum team size is maximum 10 and comprises of product owner, Scrum master, and developers. So the actual developer team size will be around 8 because the team is 10, which includes the Scrum Master and the product owner. So the next question is, how do you implement this in a very large project where you need an 80-member team? Then we break the team into 10 teams. Okay, so that is how it is scaled. Then developers, everybody in the team except the product owner and the Scrum Master is known as a developer. Developers are responsible for creating a plan for the sprint, that is the sprint backlog. So we have a ceremony called sprint planning meeting where the entire developers, Scrum Master, and the product owner participates. At the end of the sprint planning meeting, the team has the team will have a sprint backlog that is creating a plan for the sprint, that is a sprint backlog, which will include the goal of the sprint and the features that must be developed during the sprint. And the team is developers are responsible for instilling quality by adhering to a definition of done. So definition of done is critical because everybody, an ideal definition of done is nobody will work on it again. That means it is ready for shipping. At the same time, everybody should understand it the same way. Otherwise, we'll have challenges during the sprints. And adapting their plan each day toward the sprint goal. So every day the team has a daily Scrum meeting or the daily stand-up meeting. They look at things, the progress made together, and based on the progress, they adapt their plans to achieve the sprint goal within the sprint end date. They hold each other accountable as professionals. Everybody has a role to play. Product owner has a role to play. Scrum Master has a role to play. And every developer has a role to play. So they hold each other accountable as professionals. Key point 8, everybody in the team except the product owner and the scrum master is known as a developer. So no tester, no programmer, no systems analyst, no architect, no configuration manager. Everybody is known as developer. So this is a good definition. Everybody in the team except the product owner and the scrum master is known as developer. Now product owner owns the product, responsible for maximizing the value of the product, and is responsible for developing and communicating the product goal and defining and prioritizing the product backlog items and making the product backlog transparent to other stakeholders. The key thing here is, now let us say a product has 100 features to be developed. We may not have the entire 100 features fully expanded. Maybe, let us say every sprint, if you are planning to do around 10 story point worth of or equivalent of features, then see, this is evolutionary. You know, when we start with a new product, we may not have visibility onto the entire product backlog. So some features we may have expanded user stories available, whereas some other feature will remain as epics or at a very higher level. So the product owner's role is defining and prioritizing the product backlog items and making the product backlog transparent to other stakeholders. Product owner is one person, not a committee. Because if it is at the moment it becomes a committee, then decision making is slowed down. So Scrum insists that product owner must be a single person. The entire organization must support the product owner. The product ownership can be delegated, but the product owner remains accountable for the success and failure of the product. Product owner, the key point to be remembered here is the product owner owns the product. So he has the full right or the authority on the product backlog. So he can prioritize, reprioritize, add new features, or delete some existing features from the product backlog. All these things are prerogative of the product owner. Then Scrum Master. Scrum Master's fundamental role is accountable for establishing Scrum as defined in the Scrum guide. So he cannot have his own definition of Scrum. His fundamental responsibility is to implement Scrum as defined in the Scrum guide and train others, Scrum theory and practice, and they are true leaders who serve the team and organization. See, one of the motives for me to create these videos is because when I ask many Scrum teams once question like, are all the team members trained on Scrum? In majority of the cases, the answer is no. So that itself is a prescription for failure of Scrum. At least everybody should have a common understanding of what is Scrum. So that is one of the motivation for me to record all these lessons so that anybody can use it to train, to learn Scrum, and to train others within the team. So please be free to use these lessons And whatever comments or questions you have, please post it as a comment to the video. I will answer it. So the key point 10, Scrum Master is accountable for establishing Scrum as defined in the Scrum Guide. So very often when you ask this question like, are you following Scrum? The answer is, yes, we are following Scrum, but means customized version of Scrum. And sometimes the customization becomes violation of the Scrum framework itself. Then the Scrum Master service to the team, coaching the team in self-management and cross-functionality, and helping the Scrum team focus on the iteration. That means if the team members are disturbed, or if the team members are disturbed during the sprint, the Scrum Master has to pitch in and protect them from other organizational disturbances. And Scrum Master must cause the removal of impediments. As and when a developer is facing any challenges, immediately the Scrum Master is supposed to pitch in and eliminate those impediments. Otherwise, the Scrum will or the sprint will fail. Ensuring that all Scrum events take place and are positive, productive, and kept within the time box. Because the only thing that is non-negotiable in Scrum is time. So if the sprint is 30 days time, the sprint should get over in 30 days time. If the sprint planning meeting is 7 hours, the sprint planning meeting should get over in 7 hours time. If the daily stand-up meeting or the daily Scrum, if it is a 15 minutes meeting, it is supposed to get over in 15 minutes time. For the sprint planning meeting, if the entire team is supposed to attend, then the entire team must be there. So these are all some of the responsibilities of the Scrum Master to make these things happen. Then the Scrum Master service to the product owner. It's about finding techniques for effective maintenance of effective product goal definition, and find techniques for effective product backlog management, and helping the team understand the need for clear and concise product backlog definitions, and helping to establish empirical product planning and facilitating stakeholder collaboration. Very often, what I've seen is most of this product owner, they understand the functionality very well. At the same time, they understand the market also very well. But at the same time, they are not technically good. Rather, they're technically poor. So the Scrum Master and maybe the rest of the team has the responsibility to go and educate the product owner on the right tools and to maintain these product backlogs, prioritizing them, and sometimes even to do some sort of estimation at a macro level. So others can, the Scrum Master should help. For example, in one of the projects I worked very closely, the product owner was a medical practitioner. Product owner understood the functionality very well, but then the product owner was not good in Excel sheets. And they were using Excel sheets for managing the product backlog. And it is a team who helped the product owner initially to configure the Excel sheet and put all these things into the Excel sheet, and then teaching the product owner on the basics of Excel spreadsheets to prioritize the features and stuff like that. So that may be required. Then the Scrum Master service to the organization, that is leading, training, and coaching the organization in its Scrum adoption, because there are a lot of other stakeholders also, like the delivery heads, the other functional managers, the top management. Everybody should understand how Scrum really works. So maybe training is okay, but then at the end of the training, everybody may not be trained. So it is the Scrum Master has a responsibility to educate all key stakeholders on what can be expected, what can be a realistic expectation from Scrum, and on the support required from them for the successful implementation of Scrum. And helping employees and stakeholders understand and enact an empirical approach for complex work. This is a key area which needs focus these days, because everybody knows Scrum. If you ask them what is Scrum, they know. But if you ask them for details, if you ask for evidence of empiricism, that is not there. The problem with lack of empiricism is it's very difficult to measure / forecast progress, and it becomes very difficult to continuously improve if you are not measuring productivity. And Scrum Master, again, removing barriers between stakeholders and Scrum teams. Because one organization I worked, it was a bank. A high degree of collaboration was required between the functional managers and the IT teams to deliver things. So there were conflicts of interest and politics and stuff like that. So it's a great opportunity for good Scrum Masters to pitch in and remove barriers between stakeholders and Scrum teams. So the key point 11, Scrum Master has responsibilities towards product owner, developers, and the organization. So soon I'll be recording the video number 3. And what you can do now is go through the Scrum guide on the relevant topics we discussed here. And you can also attempt the assessment link given at the description of this video. If you have not subscribed to our channel yet, do subscribe so that you will keep getting all the updates on time. So thank you very much.